Hey everyone, welcome to CresTV, your regular roundup of all things Crestron and what's going on in the AV, UC industry, all that good stuff. So we're back now for another episode, and it's always nice to have old friends on the show. We've been talking in the green room before I press record, probably for about an hour. Yeah, because we're just chewing the fat and talking about tech and toys. But we need to actually record something and record a show for you out there watching this on the internet. So let me bring out my guest. Where's my mouse? There it is. Craig Durr from Futurum. Craig, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. It's just the same. We could just talk all day about tech and toys. Like, have you seen this? Have you tried that? What about this?
Well, it's half the fun is catching up on what's the latest gadgets you've got, what's the family doing, how's travel going, all that stuff.
It's got. How is the weather in Austin? I bet it's warmer than the UK. Make me
It,
jealous.
it is, but we're about to get where it's really hot. But I'm going to be in Europe. We're going to talk about that in a moment. So I'm going to be dressed appropriately. So
very cool.
Hey, but it's really interesting. We talked about it. I mean, you and I have a long history. I think we worked together prior to this. We worked together almost 8 years together, I think.
I think 8 years, and now this. So yes,
right.
Very long. Mr. Kennedy and I probably about the same time now. So
that's true. That's true. And then for the last 4 years, been talking back and forth in my current role and in your current role too, as well. So, yeah.
So tell the viewers about your current role, influencer, futurologist extraordinaire, tech guru, super follower. If you aren't following Craig on all the social channels, then should. In Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those good things, follow him. He is doing some amazing stuff.
I got a YouTube channel starting up too.
So hello. Now we've got some competition.
Please go over there as well.
Subscribe.
But it's all fun. So if I had a chance to meet anyone in the audience, my name is Craig Durr. I work for a company called Wainhouse Research, which is now transitioning to a new company name called the Futurum Group. Now, we're an analyst firm, and my group focuses exclusively on what we call enterprise communications. So you can think about the services, the technology, the devices that help enable businesses to communicate among their employees and among their customers as well, too. My area of focus, which I really enjoy, is group collaboration. So I think a lot about what's taking place in the offices, in the conference rooms, but because of what's taking place with hybrid work, I also have to start thinking about what's taking place in that personal experience going into a group space as well too. So,
and that's changed.
Headphones and toys and stuff like that become important elements.
And that's changed radically, hasn't it? I mean, we had you at Modern Work Summit over in Orlando, and we were talking about the cost of commute and the way in which things have changed. It just, again, I don't want to spoil too much because we want people to come to Madrid. It's 23rd, 24th of May, Madrid, Modern Work Summit in MIA. You can register at... we'll put the link down the bottom in the description. But do register.
modernworksummit.com.
There you go. You're more ahead than I am. But again, without spoiling your session, give us just a 50,000 foot view of what you're going to be talking about in Madrid and why people should come.
Yeah, I've been looking at this space from the outside in, as well as having the chance to talk to everyone from the inside out and understand what's going on. And I've been trying to help distill this into ideas that people can help absorb. Because one of the biggest things that's so confusing, so many moving parts, I've developed a framework that I talk a lot about. I call it the 3 Ws. It talks about the workplace, the workforce, and the workflows. And in the Modern Work Summit, we're going to talk about all 3. I'll probably dive in a little bit more on the workplace. But that framework winds up being a good setup for the rest of the experience taking place. So I'll have an opportunity to talk in the beginning on Tuesday. And then there's some really super intelligent people, smarter than me, that are coming in from Shure, coming in from Jabra. You've got some people coming in, I think, from a couple consulting firm or two.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they'll dive down a little bit deeper on the workflow ideas, on the workforce ideas, and the workplace ideas.
Nice.
Hopefully what I can do is help set up this is the world we're living in today. Here's some of the complications, but here's a path to simplicity. And that's the whole idea I think we're trying to get across in this Modern Work Summit, is that there's a path forward. I think the key thing is that you have to have some realizations. I talk about, in this context, a lot. We're in the moment where the market should be transitioning from what I'll call hybrid work 1.0 to hybrid work 2.0.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to be using terms
No,
like
no,
that.
it's all good. Everyone understands that. They'll get that.
But I think what took place is in the very beginning, back in 2021, 2022, when people are starting to come back, it came down a lot as mandates, and we're going to have hybrid work. And what I think people are realizing is that those initial ideas were a good start, but a couple things. One size doesn't fit all is one of the key ideas we talk about. I think the other thing too is I think that people can't look at hybrid work as a single corporate goal. I'll talk about this later on when we get into the session, but a lot of people in 1.0 world said, we're gonna expand into this market, we're going to launch this product, and we're gonna have hybrid work, and those are our 3 corporate goals for the year. And the problem is,
tick that one off.
Yeah, exactly. I know, and you want to do that, and so that was the problem. So people approached it. We've transitioned to 3 days a week. Managers, you tell your people when to come in. We've enabled some more conference rooms. Okay, what else is to be done? We put in a scheduling system. What else? Done. Check. And I think the problem that people are realizing is that hybrid work shouldn't be a single top line goal, but it's a tool that goes across all those goals. How can hybrid work with DEI initiatives? How can it work with ESG initiatives? How can hybrid work help me expand into a new market or help me launch a new product? And if you start thinking about hybrid work as a tool, this becomes a pretty powerful world. And that's one of those key ideas that I get across in what I'll share with the audience. And I think the audience will see for the rest of the event as well too.
No, it's interesting. I'll put you on the spot, and I've not prepped you on anything. And I asked you, I'll see if you've done any research on this. So you put a post out on LinkedIn about the amount of people that are going back to the office, and I think you were saying that the UK was ahead, I think, of US. Can't remember what it was. But then I asked you, what are we going to do with these offices? What are they going to turn into? Museums, art galleries? What do you think? I mean, where are people going with real estate now? You're saying about workplace.
It's an interesting idea. So it's hard to make one blanket statement.
Yeah.
Because where I am in North America actually has a little bit different work office scenario than what's taking place in EMEA. The US has a glut of real estate. There's a lot of extra real estate. And I think people are confusing hybrid work as causing that. Well, it's a contributor, but there's a lot of other factors taking place while the US has a lot of real estate that's empty right now.
Right.
Now in EMEA, especially in some markets like London that are where real estate's at a premium, people are going back to the office. Frankly, I actually heard of friends during the summertime going in because they enjoyed the AC, because we're not designed in the UK. We're not designed for hot weather. No one has AC at home, so they would go to the office to cool down because they don't have it. That's right.
Whereas in the States, everyone has AC.
Scheduling those desks became more of an interesting thing. But here's what's really interesting about, and it's kind of universal from both coasts, is you can't take a dog property and all of a sudden enable it for hybrid work. There is some element of within the real estate base itself, people start classifying them as grade A, grade B, grade C. That's a professional classification taking place. Those grade A properties in market aren't having a hard time with their occupancy rates. They're getting people into the offices. Now, what does that look like to you and I? Well, those look like the fun buildings. They look inviting. They have great lighting. They have neurodiversity type ideas help us be more creative in this space as well. So, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even just about the spiff. It's about the idea that the space is inviting, that it's healthy, that it encourages some of these collaboration moments. Now, those dog properties, B's and C's especially, are having a hard time. And these are the ones that they're not going to be turned into a museum. They might be raised and turned into a parking lot. The U.S. has a lot of those.
A lot of C's.
Yeah. Well, because at that point in time when they were being built out, not only they were driven by the idea of I have location and I have space and I can just build. And the quality wasn't really there and the design wasn't really there. And then the upkeep really wasn't there. They became cash cows. Frankly, a lot of those properties were built in the U.S. Based upon incentives, tax incentives, building incentives, and things like that. So what am I getting back to about this idea? Hybrid work is tough. It is impacting. There's a lot of empty office spaces, but you can start looking at the market and segment, well, who's succeeding and who's not. And one of those factors to look at is actually the physical space itself and how it's designed and set up. And that's where you and I play into this. Our interest is technology is a huge enabler of making that space adaptable, enjoyable, productive. That's the cool stuff. That's what gets me all excited about these collaboration spaces.
Again, the tools. It's not a solution. It's the tools. It's not gonna fix your problems. Throwing a big camera in there,
No.
it's not gonna make it better. I'm not gonna make your C's into an A's, but it certainly might help you as a tool to get stuff done and be more efficient. So, please don't no more spoilers, because we want people to come to Modern Work Summit and see us. So make sure you register modernworksummit.com. 23rd.
We've got all kind of good data.
23rd and 24th, I think it is.
I think that's right.
I've been away for a week, so my dates are wrong. So 23rd, 24th, modernworksummit.com. In Madrid, come and see Mr. Craig Durr and myself and many others talking about this. And again, it's going to be really, really impactful and helpful for you if you are out there making these decisions and making these choices about, Workplace 2.0. I guess let's call it that.
I think it's a great thing. There's a really simple roadmap guide that I'll share at the very end. And it's a 5-step process. It's not brain science. It's not difficult. But one of those key things is, you've got great resources in your technology partners, in the Crestrons of the world, who have done the research, who have done the deployments, have seen good, bad. One of those key things is events like this, where you can have a chance to go and learn from peers, learn from the technologists, learn from the vendors, and make your own unique decision. Because again, each hybrid deployment's a snowflake in some ways. Each company, you have to have a unique leverage to pull that works for you.
Very, very cool. I will see you in Madrid, and I'll also see you on Twitter and LinkedIn and now YouTube. And to all you watching, do make sure you go and sign up, follow Craig and all of the great stuff that he's putting out now with Futurum. And come and see us in Madrid. Craig, I will see you there. I'll bring a whole bunch of toys and we'll just sit and in the coffee breaks and we'll just play with getting toys. It'll be great.
We'll do. Look for it. I think Neil and I are going to we're going to break off and we're going to do some recordings.
We'll do a breakout room, yeah.
But we're going to do our own 3Ws breakout. We're going to do some more man on the street stuff and talk. It should be fun.
I love it. Craig, thank you ever so much for joining us here on CresTV today.
Good. Thank you, Neil.
Great. And thank you all for tuning in for this episode of CresTV, updating you on some of the speakers that we've got coming to Modern Work Summit in Madrid, May 23rd, 24th, modernworksummit.com. Go to Crestron.com. Make sure you ring the bells, do all the good subscription stuff for YouTube. And again, follow Craig. He's got some great stuff coming out as well. Every Friday, Thursday. Every Thursday, join us here on CresTV, and I'll catch you on the next one.